This is the best of the week on Relevant Radio.
You could see that I'm the one who understands you. Been here all along, so why can't you see? You belong with me. You belong with me.
Hey, welcome back to the Cale Clarke Show on Relevant Radio, 888-914-9149. And Patrick Alog, who's sitting in today for Jim Shaper. And Patrick Alog's a big Swiftie, as you all know, so he had to play some Taylor Swift. He's just become
I'm going to go on air right now and say no.
Oh, okay. Oh, come on, man. You got to play along with the fun.
I know, but I have a
no,
reputation.
Speaking of reputation, oh my goodness. All right, the Swift puns continue. Taylor Swift showed up at the Chiefs-Bears game in Kansas City at Arrowhead Stadium on Sunday, and the ripple effects are still being felt throughout the world, and maybe even in the presidential election in the U.S. She may have a huge influence on that. I'll tell you about that in just a second. But this happened before she showed up, when the rumors were just starting to fly that she might be dating Kansas City tight end Travis Kelce. Here's what Ian Eagle, famed broadcaster, here's a call of a Kelce touchdown that happened even before this. Check this out.
Kelce, the motion man, low snap. Mahomes, moving pocket. Mahomes floats it up. Caught! Touchdown, Travis Kelce! Kelce finds a blank space for the score.
Okay. Blank space, another Swift tune. So he kind of went viral for that call, Ian Eagle. But Taylor Swift did show up to the Chiefs game with the Bears on Sunday. Predictably so. This created an incredible amount of interest. Now, if you're wondering why this matters, since that game, just in the last couple of days, Travis Kelce jersey sales have gone up 400%. Travis Kelce has a podcast along with his brother Jason Kelce, who's a center for the Philadelphia Eagles. They played each other in the Super Bowl last year. You might remember this. So their podcast called New Heights, since Taylor Swift showed up at the game, that has now jumped to the number one spot in the entire world. It ranks number one overall on Apple Podcasts. How about that? Travis Kelce now has 383,000 Instagram followers that he has just added since Sunday. I don't know how many he had before, but he's got an extra 383K. As for the Chiefs-Bears game, now obviously the Chiefs are the defending Super Bowl champions. The Bears are not quite at that level yet. I'm really sad about that. Everyone thought that the Bears were going to really turn the corner this year, and wow, they took a hard turn in the wrong direction. Having said that, okay, the season's not over yet, but Chicago obviously has a huge fan base all across the U.S., but a lot of people tuned in to watch that game just because Taylor Swift was there. They kept showing her. I mean, Fox wasn't dumb. I mean, they're showing shots of her in the private box, and Greg Olson and Kevin Burkhardt kept saying, I think we're going to be doing this shot quite a few times during the game, just to let you know. So advertising execs, broadcasting execs were really happy about this. 24.3 million Americans watched that game on Sunday between the Bears and the Chiefs. Blowout as it was, people wanted to see Taylor. 63% jump in female viewership and this is the coveted 18 to 49 demographic. 18 to 49-year-old women, 63% jump in that category. I wonder why. 3 times the increase of Google searches for Chiefs on the web. 3 times the increase in Chiefs sales, tickets on StubHub. They also sold more tickets in a single day since the start of the season. So the Chiefs are happy she was there. Fox was happy that she was there. But is the GOP happy? Well, Taylor Swift might become a problem for the Republican Party. And by the way, I will never tell you who to vote for. I am apolitical here. I'm in Canada, for goodness sakes. I have my own issues I need to deal with. The second Republican debate is happening tonight, as you know. And Taylor Swift might have an outsized impact on the 2024 election, just as another person who's not in the debate tonight, Donald Trump, will have as well. He's far and away the front runner still for the Republican nomination, has not deigned to show up at any of the debates yet, doesn't feel that he needs to. It's hard to argue with him on that front, but we'll see what happens. So, interesting thought piece by Rex Hupke, writing in USA Today about just this, how Taylor Swift might, with her reputation alone, swing the 2024 presidential election. She's 33 years old now. And to be able to break the grip of the media in talking about the NFL on a Sunday in the fall, that's a spectacular feat. And it really became the story that she was at this game. And this is the power of the Swifties. That's her fan base. That's what they're called, the Swifties. The Swifties might have a hand in swinging the election next year. Now, here's a case in point. And this is mentioned by Rex Hupke in his article. Just a few days ago, before she showed up at Arrowhead Stadium, September the 19th, National Voter Registration Day, Taylor Swift put out one Instagram post, just one. It's kind of about this whole topic, and the nonprofit group vote.org all of a sudden registered more than 35,000 new voters, like right away. And that was 25%. That was a 25% increase over when they did this last year. 115% jump in the 18-year-olds who registered for this. So 18-year-olds in that category, that age group, a 115% jump just because Taylor Swift put out an Instagram post. So I'm pretty sure that she is not going to be voting Republican. And whether you do or not, that's the decision you're going to have to make. But this could wind up influencing the election somehow. Now, not because anybody's going to change their view necessarily. Let's face it, everybody's pretty entrenched in their positions. Everyone's kind of dug in, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. You're probably not going to change your mind. Probably. Some will, of course, but what's really in play here is people who haven't voted in the past. Young people who maybe didn't care enough to vote. There are large blocks of people, maybe even older people who've kind of just given up on this whole thing and said, I'm out. I just can't take this anymore. If these people can be encouraged to vote, it could have a huge impact. And so apparently the turnout of voters ages 18 to 29, so this will be the 2022 midterms, was the second highest it's ever been in 3 decades. Now, allegedly, according to the stats provided here, that in this category of 18 to 29-year-olds, Democrats are preferred over Republicans by a 28-point margin. That's pretty high. Allegedly, among young people. I also get the feeling there are a lot of young people who are voting Republican, too, these days. But this is kind of what we saw over the last, some surprises over the last couple of years. In Wisconsin, Democratic Governor Tony Evers won over his Republican opponent, and apparently 70% of young voters voted for this guy. Also, a Democratic liberal justice was voted to the state Supreme Court in Wisconsin as well, and that is attributed to young voters as well voting for this person. Former Governor Scott Walker said this, quote, younger voters are the issue. It comes from years of radical indoctrination on campuses, in schools, with social media, throughout culture. We have to counter this or conservatives will never win battleground states again, end of quote. So again, with this guy saying, Rex Hupke, he's saying it's highly doubtful that somebody like Taylor Swift could get somebody who normally votes Republican to vote Democratic, or that anybody else could switch somebody the other way. But this large untapped group, especially of young people who don't normally vote, if she can encourage them to vote, it could make a big difference. And Patrick Alog, you're wise to point this out to me earlier. We were talking about this, and you had mentioned something that happened back in 2007, a celebrity endorsement. Can you talk about this?
I remember, about 16 years ago when the primary elections were coming up on the Democratic side and Republican side. On the Democratic side, you had Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, and Oprah Winfrey made an endorsement of Senator Barack Obama for presidency. And some people said that swung the Democratic nomination towards Barack Obama.
Yeah, this was back in 2007, and they're both, have Chicago roots, obviously. And so she endorsed him for the Democratic nominee. He obviously got it. He obviously won the presidency in 2008. But Taylor Swift's influence is way bigger than anything Oprah ever had back in 2007 because social media wasn't a factor back then. So this is a huge potential factor in the election. It could, in some key battleground states, the Swifties might carry the day. I don't know, but it's an interesting topic to be sure. I think a lot of people are tired of hearing about Taylor Swift, but she's basically running a small economy right now. Her present Eras tour is on track to gross. I've got the stats here. Well, Beyonce's tour is only going to gross $500 million only. only, I say. And I think the Eras Tour is on track for $5 billion in economic activity. Can you believe that? Question always is, and again, I go back to this little survey that used to be given to university students by an evangelical group called Campus Crusade for Christ. Maybe some of you guys are familiar with them. And they used to try to evangelize students on campuses, and they would ask the question, who's sitting on the throne of your heart? Is there some person, something that you're focusing most of your attention and thoughts and dreams and there's no question that people are looking for role models, and sometimes those role models can easily become idols in one's life. And for a lot of the Swifties, I don't know, it might have gone too far. There's no question about that. And a lot of them are quite young and impressionable. And if Taylor says, you should do this, they will probably listen to her. It's a factor for sure. And that always has been. It always has been. There always have been celebrity endorsers. And this is kind of the danger with the faith as well. Whenever there's a celebrity convert to Catholicism, there's always a danger. Everyone wants to kind of say, oh, if this person's Catholic, maybe I should think about it. And it's true that these people have a lot of influence that you and I don't have. They can reach large numbers of people. But sometimes people have feet of clay, and sometimes people who haven't been Catholic for 5 minutes are put forward as paragons of the faith, and that there's a danger there. There's a danger there. So the faith isn't true because a Hollywood actor or singer decides to embrace it. It's true because it is true, and I'm glad if they do. That's fantastic. We do need Catholics in these spheres, in the arts, because they are so highly influential. There's no question about it. Like what you've just heard? Share it with your family and friends, and thanks for listening.